everybody, Mbali, Mthombeni,
Nhlahla, Mbuyiselo,
and today we're going to talk about tribalism. So, Nhlahla, what is tribalism?
Well, tribalism, according to my experience, it is the discrimination amongst tribes. You know, tribalism, it comes in a shape of, you know, passing petty statements, or you know, hey, I'm a Zulu, hey, I'm a baby, you know, and from time to time, you know, we take those things as jokes, but you know, they actually reflect, you know, deeper, you know, because accordingly to me, the experience I have when it comes to the tribalism, especially when abantu bambuza ukuthi umhlobo muni, you know, ngisho ukuthi ngumZulu, you know, and abantu they start passing comments as in like, hey, now we are fine now, you know, and apology, we can even classify tribalism as, you know, a superiority complex, you know, because abantu ababuya from different tribes, Tiger is much more superior than, you know, other tribes, you know. So that's why I think you uzbeka phezulu, and according to ukubela abanye abantu phansi ngoba uzbeka phezulu. For me, that is my experience or my definition of what I identify tribalism as.
So I've experienced tribalism mainly because, like, and yeah, people have a lot to say in Amandebele, especially like that for some reason. I don't understand you guys. Like, you know, lazy, like, Nkunogusia, you could look at Amandebele, Nkunogusia, Mabweli Wenji, Ngo Mai, because also Manyama tribes, you know, Tumba, and you know, it's like, it makes it difficult for us to be proud of, like, our culture because we business you know, and we're very vibrant people. We're very like very, you know, we make it a point to motivate. Magweli of like we make it a point to really like overemphasize. So I think my experiences of bias against my tribe is just people talking about like we spend too much money on unnecessary things. We like, you know, because this other boy actually was talking about how like we see flexing on my headboard, because obviously when we have our coming of age ceremonies, they'll usually like buy us a bed and like a fresh new headboard and whatnot.
Like they did for you.
Like they did. Why you gotta come through, bitch? So yeah, so I experienced a lot of it, and just these minor things, you know, like speaking about how, because for me it's always like, oh, you're Ndebele, you don't look Ndebele. It's like, what does a Ndebele person look like? You know what I mean? What are they supposed to look like? What are they supposed to act like? Because you can't say to me, I don't present myself like I'm a certain tribe, like as if culture is something that you're supposed to just walk around performing.
Of course.
Because people, like, the reason why it's in oh, you're Zulu, you almost is because when in your head culture must be performed. The moment I see you, I'm like, also because you know, you got this hair, you got this beard situation, because everything must be performed, like I must look like what I am, and in order for you to believe that I am what I am. So.
Yeah, but I feel as it's a case of stereotypes, you know, stereotypes that are actually being passed around, and people actually, you know, find that they receive that, you know, in a normative spectrum, you know, and abantu bathatha lezi zinto bazi-incorporate, you know, without understanding ukuthi, you know, they are making people feel uncomfortable, you know, and uncomfortable with where they are from, and uncomfortable to uphold usiko lwabo, you know, because of that is what they have been actually brought into, you know, because ngifila ngathi nje njengoba singabantu angisho siyakhuliswa siyahluka, khona abakhulisiwe ngosiko, khona abakhulisiwe ngendlela ehlukile. So of course, when you're supposed to take your shape in the world, you know, you have to be proud of where you actually come from, you know, and And it gets really hard, you know, when abantu bathi, "Eish, kanti nawe ulomhlobo womuntu," you know, and abantu they don't realize, you know, there was this other tweeter, you know, this. No, it was Ntombazane posted isithombe, you know, and she was like, "I'm proudly Venda," you know, and and I got to see it when people were like, "Really, you don't look Venda," you know?
I'm a Venda.
You know?
Okay, Isa, I just since we're talking on stereotypes, right? I just want to know, like, Imab, when I'm a stereotypes, Eswatolai, like, or that you know Eswatolai, my tribes.
I mean, I'm a stereotype thinking as what you know, from I'm a tribe. You're saying you should go to I've already mentioned Nhlahla, well, I'm a to Mabasho Uti. Okay, I was so
and their moms.
Guys, I'm a course. I'm a course. I'm a course.
Women specifically.
Yeah, but speaking of closers, have you guys noticed Uti in most soapies, dramas, Yawatola, music, Yibo, politics, Yibo, so. Or are they dominant? Is that the reason?
Okay.
Or are they?
No, not that they're dominant people, but like they are dominating South Africa right now. Like in terms of even pop culture. Like I feel like as a band we found ourselves speaking Xhosa, random.
Yeah.
Tumba Mtakadao, Tumba Salaweli, even
Yeah,
Salaweli, like you know they
Salaweli
it's a Xhosa word. Like
but
Xhosa that.
You know, but something for me, like on my side, you know, it's something that we have to pay attention to. You know, I don't mind anyone flourishing and actually taking up space, you know, but we have to mind then thing you mentioned earlier on in a superiority complex, you know, because you know, and they start looking down on people because of what most people who are part of the tribe have accomplished, you know. I mean, it's not even back to history, you know, going back to Umbuso Mandela, you know. Of course, it's supposed to make them feel proud, you know, but it doesn't supposed to make them feel as if like Bangatata Abanyabandu party. That is me, like, you know, saying, you know, everyone is entitled, you know, to flourish, you know, but we have to make sure that we don't weaponize, you know, flourishing, you know, and look down on other tribes and say, you know what, they're the greatest tribe to have ever exist, you know, because like everyone has something to offer.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I truly believe in. You know, I feel like as now opening there's a whole lot I can learn from you. You know, as much as Nami Mumzulu, there's a whole lot we can learn from you. You know.
So I mean, I'm sorry to cut you off. I just want to add on Lendo Kumanga. So when we talk discrimination, is it safe to say groups or tribes are in competition with each other or one another?
I feel like, I don't think that we're necessarily in competition, especially when it's just a one-on-one thing. Like if it's just me and you, we're not in competition.
Yeah, exactly.
But the moment and now it's like 2 against 1 type of situation, then like we have a little dominance, you know what I mean? You see it, even though it's not about tribes now, but like you see it with white people where because it's me and them. But the moment like their fellow white person comes in, now they want the whole conversation to be based, for example, around Afrikaans, knowing very well that I don't understand Afrikaans, you know what I mean? So they won't like feel the need to accommodate you.
Exactly.
And like Zulus and Lebedes aren't even that far off in terms of language. But let's say like actually one time like what happened was that like one of my friends and I were walking down town, and this other man basically he's like the trolley guy, so somebody killed him. And this guy is Betty, he's Sutu Betty, and this girl, she's not like, she doesn't understand Betty at all, and like now they're having an argument, and like this girl starts to speak, like she's speaking to him in English, common language. He's speaking to her in Betty, so she starts to get mad because I understand, like and she starts speaking in her language. So it's kind of just like there isn't competition until there's a tension. You know, once there's tension amongst these tribes, then you start to see others are like a certain thing. Like, so I wouldn't necessarily start to speak about. I would have a Xhosa friend, for example. I wouldn't necessarily bring up the stereotype because it's cross a line, whatever, until there's tension between me and her. Now there's going to be a thing of crosses lie. Probably lying because you cross out, you know what I mean, in that situation. So I feel like tension and discomfort, that's what makes things just kind of like.
But you know, to try and put things, you know, something that I've seen, you know, especially in the working environment, you know, the places that I've actually worked, you know, I've seen people actually grouping themselves, you know, and when they group themselves, you know, they start having this power steering appetite, you know, for dominance, you know, and like I've seen it, because like in Ghana, sevens are every bank, you know, sevens are one every bank, you know, you had even sevens are now, you know, most of them, you know, they were Zulu, and more Kulumi is Zulu, and you know that place was really populated, you know, it was really populated, and like, you know, it was different people from different places, you know, even Noma Ukupu and you know, up in the map, there were people outside our country, you know, and you know, they were actually subjected to Zulu. There were even Noma Bangasas, you know, it goes down to visiting like English, we want to do that. Umuntu omzulu uzobakutshela ukuthi hayi mina ngikuzwa mina ukuthi and for me it comes down to that, you know, it becomes a situation ukuthi abantu kahle ama tribes they want to be dominant, you know.
And also just want to say, to add to that, it's not necessarily, it's not wrong to learn a language if you're in a certain space. Like if you go to KwaZulu-Natal, it's not wrong to learn Zulu because it makes it easier for you to maneuver around. But the moment I'm here, like the moment I start to have this thing of Guti Anguza, like you just said with that Zulu person, Guti Anguza, Nibenguzwa. Now I'm forcing you to speak to me in my language, and a lot of white people do that. Guys,
but no, it's true.
White people will do that. Like you speak to them in English, and then they insist you speak to them in Afrikaans, in something that's like easier for them to understand, something that is, you know, their language. And when I say you don't want to meet me halfway, basically, because I'm not speaking my language either. If I'm speaking to you in English, I'm not speaking my language.
Exactly.
I'm going to meet her halfway. At least at least it's halfway. When
and I also mean that, and I know this is gonna sound really off, but I mean I've seen it with my tribe. Yeah, well, when the tribe.
Which tribe? Which tribe are you?
Amazulu. Yeah, Mzulu. Yeah, well, Amazulu, they are not accommodating to anyone else, and they expect you to actually meet to their expectations, you know. And bona abana accommodate abanye abantu, you know. And I've seen a whole lot of Zulu people who like even umuntu abantu engibathanda kakhulu ngiyabathanda abantu abakhuluma isiVenda, ngiyabathanda abantu abamaTsonga, you know, because of they try to master every language that they speak to meet everyone halfway, you know. And you find them esikhathini esiningi, you know, umuntu nje azama ukukhuluma isiZulu even though abone ukuthi somehow you know.
And do you think that is like, because I feel like what happens with most of the time, if you are like the least population in the country, so for example, Amatsonga, Mandebele, then there's we like the least population, so with the least people. So we have to, like, it's kind of a thing of we have to, like, Amazulu won't accommodate, Amazulu banding, like, Zulu show, it's Cape Town, you know what I mean? But with us, we kind of have to have this thing of, I have to learn other languages because I might go into a place where this is completely foreign to me. If you find like a Tonga person, like Tongas are mostly in Limpopo, the moment they go to the northwest, that's a completely foreign land for them. They have to, like, it's a adapt or die.
No, but that's talking about a minority. You know, you're not talking about Amakoisan.
Imagine, like,
I can imagine how they feel.
And it's such a bad, there's Khoisans maneuvering around us, but as far as they are never in situations where they can speak their language.
Because we're in this cluster of competition, you know, because of, for me, I find I'm linguistics, you know, they're aggressively competitive in a way, you know. although I mean, this is a sequel and actually like pin it down, you know, to its core, you know, but subconsciously it is something that is active, you know. Lento Okunma, which like Amazulu, you know, they do for as a majority of population in South Africa, you know, and that is why everyone is accustomed to it.
So I mean, sorry. So Issa, you think language has a major role that it plays on tribalism?
I feel good in language. Let's try and break it down. What is language? When you speak, it's how you actually see things. You know, it's how you actually identify the world. You know, that is language. You know, language is a coded perception. You know, it means when you speak a certain language, it means that you view a world, you know, in a specific,
in a certain way.
In a certain way.
And I love how you say that because, like, if we go back then to Amazulu as well, the moment I hear my language, like how you say, language is much more. It's way more than just what you say. And like the moment I speak and I'm understood, already I feel comfortable to maneuver around in Mthombeni. So, because I know there's someone who sees the way I see, you know what I mean? And that's why you should be Amazulu, like, because they know for a fact, even if I go to Limpopo, I'm so like they know. So how do like, you see pre-taxi rank, like you see every job, it's like in the middle of how they like they will eat in Yama, in Togo, Manje, like they will make us do that because they know, you know what I mean?
But okay guys, I don't know. Good, wrong, or maybe like they are part of their culture.
Yes.
And then we can't really take that away from them.
But the thing is, they are
them,
advantaged enough to be part of the culture.
How are they advantaged?
Because by name, you understand?
Okay.
So
they're the minority.
They're the majority.
Majority, sorry. Yeah.
So everyone's part of their culture. I'm part of my culture as well, you know. But it's like, for example, like when I got to varsity, when I got to Res.
Okay, I'm sorry. Is it a fact that they're majority? Is it a fact?
I think so.
I think so. Zulus and Xhosas, they are the most
majority. Like in the country.
Okay. Yeah, no, I just wanted us to confirm that because I mean it's very important that we have facts.
We have facts.
Okay, but you were.
So like when I got to Res, like obviously I'm in Pretoria. Pretoria is like it's a mixture, but it's mostly like Sotho people. If you're not Sotho, like you end up speaking Sotho, Sepedi, Pitori, you get into that. So like for me, it was difficult to find Omunyumunto in the bed. You understand?
Yeah.
So firstly, Omunyumunto is you know, you're in a foreign place and you're just like, wow. So the moment I get into that place, I speak English because no one understands my language.
Yeah.
So automatically I maneuver around speaking English. I'm not fully comfortable because I ain't calling English every single day, you understand? And expect, like I am losing a bit of myself, I'm losing that part of myself. So, and number two, like even like the like it jargon, I can't speak it because no one understands it. So now I'm already like a bit uncomfortable in everything that I do, lightly. And then I get to a space, I got to like a certain, and I've seen a group of people, but it was also like a mixture of people, but then there were developed people there. And you can tell, the moment you see another developed person, it's like, you know what I mean? It's about more than, like this thing is not, it's not just language, it's not just culture,
it's
like,
more than
it's like, I see myself in you, bruh, like I can speak to you in my language, I can, you know, I know you get certain things that I get, you know what I mean? And you feel, you didn't know that you were that enclosed until you got to a place where you're like, oh,
but
actually I'm free enough to be myself.
I don't know. Do you guys think your tribalism was used also as a divide and rule?
For sure.
But
for me,
especially in Africa.
I feel
Africa, we are about to I mean, you can go to Angola and I'm sure there's different tribes in Angola. You know, so was that used?
No, for me, I feel like already we are grouped as people. You know,
we
are already grouped. You know, by
okay.
our culture, we are grouped by our tribes. You know, because of one tribe belongs in that certain region of the place, and one tribe belongs in that
land. The native land.
I feel Guti isn't though that already existed, you know, but it became a tool that was actually enforced on something that was already existent, you know. But I feel Uguti having this commotion that I feel Uguti, you know, it has taken shape, you know, through time. I feel like that is something that was actually enforced on, you know, something that was actually, I would say, Uguti, we were turned against each other, you know. True. Coexistence. Ubuntu. Because I feel like Uguti ancient. I feel like Uguti abandabadala.
Okay.
You know, there are you know, and to reason to it's fana nubuntu, you know. It's things that actually cultivate coexistence, you know. I feel like although we were grouped, but you know there was coexistence. You know, and there was.
And we weren't that group. I think what the difference that the Native Land Act did was that as much as like obviously we still had our different cultures in it, but we were able to intermove.
Okay.
So now the Native Land Act, what it did was that Mina Makas, Salan got the moment I want to move around, now there's admin J, makes me uncomfortable. Mazulu, Salan Land, Pelele Lab, but you know, so the moment I have to move out of my homeland, it's like, you know, this Yonkenji, the paper, paperwork, and obviously then we're all like in our places, then we just don't want to like just go through that admin of intermoving. Exactly. And then all I have is my people, all I have is
going to have her ideologies, you know, and we're going to agree. You know, but that doesn't mean Uguti us agreeing with you know. There's gonna be slightly a difference to how we encounter life, you know. And I can take what I can from you, and you can take what you can from me. You understand? But the plot twist of polarization actually birthed, you know, something that is beyond our control. Right.
And I think it goes back to what I said about like people not having freedom of movement to be with each other. Because firstly, if I can move, let's say I'm a maiden girl, okay, fine. If Nhlahla, maybe I've had like those experiences with other cultures. Now I've birthed a child. This child named Nhlahla, you know, she had her schooling life, her first boyfriend, her last boyfriend, her husband, her kids, that's like all that a person knows, you know what I mean? And then, fine, apartheid ends, because that's how apartheid ended. It's just like but it ends, and now I'm expected to just like automatically be comfortable with interlinking. It's still uncomfortable with like interdating our Gwamanyama tribes, because as much as like it's a norm in a way, you know, it's not too unbound, but it's awkward, man. It's awkward because now we have to understand it's okay, sharp. Mina now is understand that. But the moment I go home and be like, hey, boyfriend, you know what I mean? They have their own biases. They have their own biases about my culture. Now, fine.
Mbali, I'm sorry, Mbali, right? So Guinea equivalent to Uti, okay, my Mbali since Mbali, maybe try to Mbali. And also going back to religion, Uti, maybe try to Muto Pumisan twin. Not
really, like my parents are really like free in terms of what I do. They're really free, but they're not do that. You know, they make comfort. We're very flexible people. So whatever space we get into, we will learn listening and then you know we'll do that for you guys at that point in time. So for example, my parents are very religious, but we won't. If maybe one of our family members has like a we're there. That's family, you know what I mean? As much as we don't believe in that, but that's family. We came here because we have a belief in what's in family. So our beliefs mustn't interclash so much so that like my you know what I mean?
But like, do our religious beliefs clash with tradition? No, like let's talk about that. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
For me, I feel like it actually they do, you know, because you know, and that actually comes with a whole lot of practices, you know, practices that you have to uphold, you know. And you know, there are things that actually bothers umuntu, you know, and abantu abangayi-understanding impilo ukuthi, you know, ukugula akusu okwenyama kuphela, nokomphefumulo kuyenzeka, you know, ukuthi umuntu angabi sharp. Uthola umuntu kwamele abuyele aye ekhaya bawumyenzela izinto kumele bamenzele zona because of that's how they are actually brought up, you know. And you know, although these things, you know, we might say it's superstition, but you know, it's things that we don't want to explore, you know, because of like the religion has intervened that much, you know, to actually.
It's evil.
Exactly. They told us that it's evil, you know.
Okay, what is evil?
The like your cultural practices.
Your cultural practices, like kumana namadlozi, you know, phahla, isn't there? I mean, I feel like there's a natural alchemy that is actually involved in that, you know. That's what people don't understand. You know, consciousness actually serves us, you know, in ways that we wouldn't begin to fathom, you know. And isn't there medicines big, you know, it's things that we are supposed to keep a close eye to, you know, because of as soon as we lose our identity, you know, and
oh, you're already in the thing. Okay, but basically what I was asking you, because I was saying already figure and two sets of identities in terms of their culture and their religion, you know what I mean? Whereas one thing I noticed, and a way to specifically, they don't mix, you know what I mean? They, yeah, the other is beefing with the other, and they just don't like them. But like everybody else, like when they come into the world, they have a culture, they have a religion, but they're so in sync that it's not a worry, you know what I mean? Like you'll have like Indian people who are Hindu, and them being Indian and them being Hindu, they mix, those things don't clash, you know what I mean? So their beliefs, there's never a point in time where they feel like, oh, Mara, because in Kolona Guru, but this is who I am, I have to sort of make a choice. Whereas with us, it's always like, okay, but I'm also Christian, and as a Ndebele person, I'm like, when I have my coming of age ceremony, we catch you busy, we touch by but my religion says that's evil, you know what I mean? So it's like, what do you do in situations like that? Like, do you then completely reject one, and what does completely rejecting one of those do for you? Like, what does it cause you harm? Is it good?
But that is really a tricky question, you know. But I mean, I always feel as those where you know, when things date back to things that you can't actually pin down, is where and how did they start? You know, I feel like Tina, that's where corner, you know, as black people, you know, it has thousands, if not millions, of history, and you know, we are willing to give that up into something that was introduced to us how many thousand years back?
I mean, I don't know, but the thing is fine. That's my question. But now I'm here, you know what I mean? I was raised Christian, and I was raised Zulu or whatever culture I am. And now I'm here, because a lot of times also when we're raised, they're too focused on kulisumdana or respectable or that they forget to sort of inform us within the and the moment you start to think for yourself, you're like, hey, this doesn't make sense, you lose your mind. You're like, so because and you know, what do I do?
As for me, it's something that I've always understood, you know, on my side. You know, everything is interconnected. However things clash, you know, in the world, everything is just interconnected, you know. And my Babylon, isinto zosithole eBhayibhelini, and you can go isinto, I see Bible zothola esintwini, you know. If ever one can actually try to alleviate that in that type of,
people's
you know,
minds.
trying to come in that form of understanding, you know, of course, when they are going to be introduced to us, they're going to have their flaws, you know, especially for me in a religion, you know. I don't speak against a religion, you know, but I personally feel there are things that are things that has to do with a religion that actually oppress people, you know, in a way. Although, but it's religion, you know, we have to accept it, you know, open-heartedly, you know. But I feel though that religion actually enforces, you know. And by all means, you just have to be in compliance with that, you know. And you know, religion now, you know, I feel with now the culture it does have its flaws, you know. But I feel like as a band, it's like trying to see the synergy between the both and how can we utilize that synergy. You know, for me, that's something that can actually shed light, you know, to where we are trying to head it in life, you know. And as soon as we can take the two variables, you know, and try to see the interconnectedness, you know, because like, let me make you an example. As much as science and religion clashes, but they have similar points. You understand? As much as Usigo clashes, you know, with religion, you know, they actually have similar points. You know, I don't see what the commotion is about.
Yeah.
If
you don't feel like you have to choose.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I don't feel they should be stressed about burning in bed or, you know, because of in church they do burn incense.
Yeah, that's true.
But do you see what I'm trying to raise?
Yeah.
Or the interconnectedness of
so,
everything.
Angazi, or do you want to say something about it? No, I just want to know, since coming at religion, like which religion do you guys fall under?
So by virtue of being born and growing up Christian, you see. But so I identify as Christian. Even though I think my belief, I'm definitely going to restructure my entire belief because I just believe in there are certain things in Christianity that I will completely be like, nah, like, you know, there's certain things like the patriarchy in religion, like in terms of Uti, because basically what Christianity believes is that God is sort of like all our gods, but man is sort of woman's God in a way. So it's like God, man, and woman, child. And so I don't believe in that. I don't believe that a man is above me, you understand? I believe that a man is beside me, like.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So I don't believe that a man is superior to me. And my religion tells me that and it shoves that, like, down my throat, basically. So as much as I do identify as Christian, there are things like that I'm gonna just be like, but I'm not gonna mock Christianity as a whole because you know, Christianity tiwa thanda makhulane the way usithanda nawe tiwa umuntu akabulali umuntu akenzi those things zilakimi ngikhule vele njalo and those are very like those are things that helped me in life also, like when I had like situations that were rough and whatnot, I had to be like, you know what, so by virtue of that let's get up, let's go in life. So that's my attitude.
So like before you, what made you want to restructure your work?
I think like you see how I just asked Nhlahla, I would say like you get to that point where you just like with me, I think that was also like a thing for me. When you educate yourself and you start seeing things, you know. So what I had done is that like I was reading up on other religions because I was like, I'm interested because with me, I had friends who were Muslim, and I had friends who were Hindu, I heard about an Indian thing at school. So and maskuluma bengizokuthi mina nalomuntu lona sikhuluma into eyi-one, you understand? Like our beliefs are very similar even though our religions are completely different. So I had interest in like other religions. It's okay, how do other people live, you know what I mean? And it goes again with the like flexibility, like how I said, it's like I'm very flexible and I take pride in being flexible because amongst the space in the soul, that's what we're gonna do, you know what I mean? If I'm in a space where, like this is why I try to speak like many languages, because if I'm in a space where Kulumi Spady, by all means, so Kulumi Spady, if I'm understanding you, correct me, but you know, I'm in this space. If Milanga you say Texerenki, who ought to have a plate, I'm not gonna be like, what the plate is, yeah, like, you know what I mean? So even like with that, like I didn't want to be such a person who would say, no, I'm Christian. So the rest of y'all, you understand? At least, not obviously, and I think with other people that
sorry,
think
but
that
Christians and by the way, Guti, Okay, yes.
Because umuntu ucabanga ukuthi wena bakholelwa kwenye into so ufuna nami ngikholelwe kuleyo nto leyo. And it's not even like that. As long as we understand ukuthi where you coming from in terms of your belief, so that nakhona if kunento kunala ngisheda khona kumele at least ngazi ukuthi okay lo akakholelwa then so let me just be sensitive in terms of that level. So I think that's where it stemmed from with me when I started like learning about other religions and learning about my culture and how like its spirituality, like it also has its own system of spirituality because it was just kind of like, oh, okay.
Isa, which religion do you follow?
I mean, I've heard it from birth. You know, I was introduced to the world as a Christian.
Yeah.
You know, but later I had to disband in being a Christian. You know, mainly because you know, I had really thought provocative questions, you know, especially when I was reading through my Bible. You know, I felt like Uti, you know, I don't know why people would actually, you know, people classify God, you know, as an entity that is omnipresent, meaning that every life force, you know, carries a God within, you know, and for me it means that, okay, if everyone carries a God within, it means that, you know, there is truth and there is knowledge, you know, in every religion. You know, there is in the world, you know. So for me,
God in you,
exactly, you know, for me, I had to find the God in each and every spiritual belief there is, you know, so that I can actually broaden my perception to how I view spirituality, you know. And, you know, spirituality doesn't actually have labels, you know. I feel like, you know, if a person identifies as a Christian, you know, they think that they are more spiritual. No, you're not. If you're a Muslim, you identify as more connected to God. No, you're not. You know, people have lost the true concept of godliness, you know, which is oneness, you know, meaning that life will forever have diversity. And by diversity, it means that we're supposed to come together and actually embrace, you know, the interconnectedness that we have as people, the oneness, because of that is the true epitome of God. You know, so for me, that's how I actually got to, you know, move away from actually classifying myself as, you know, as something that has a title or a label, you know. I just moved away from that, you know, so that I can actually broaden my wisdom, my intelligence, my understanding. Guys, the setting has actually changed. Load shading and because earlier on we were supposed to do a photo shoot that became delayed because of Ndabokesi. And you know, I mean, we are running an entity, you know. This is an entity that is actually functional, and like you have to pay rent, you have to pay stuff like that. And you know, in Ndabokesi, it's actually killing our productiveness. But anyways, where were we?
We were on well, politics. Do we find tribalism? Politics. Do we find tribalism? Okay,
so my whole thing, like when I actually thought about that, was like how Uzuma basically like would campaign mostly in KwaZulu-Natal because he's Zulu and he knew to like, you know, the strategy would see like if I can get my people to vote for me, and this sounds like my people because people from my tribe to vote for me and to believe in me and to have that, you know, fixated belief in me, then I'm good. And even you know, there's an English of my song, and it came out when I think it was after Mthombeni or before Mthombeni, between like after Mandela and after Mthombeni, but they were literally campaigning for Zuma, and Parliament doesn't want Zuma, and like literally, like, do you understand? That actually affects people so much because they're like, he's Zulu. That's the only basis. Zulu. I'm going to vote for him on the basis of that. Because especially with politics, like not everyone is politically inclined. As much as the whole country is expected to vote, nobody has no reason. You know, you vote the line. Like I don't know about like especially if I'm from a rural area. You know, people have people in metropolitan areas have bigger problems. I'm not road. I'm not number one. I'm doing because you know what I mean? I don't have those issues. So I'm expected to vote. I'm gonna vote for you. Why? Because you're in my tribe. Hey.
Isa? I mean, do you think we find it more politics?
I thought that was a mouthful. You actually said it all day.
But even with the fact that okay,
she's stingy, bro.
Oh, good
You're stingy. You said a mouthful.
I mean, even right now, like when Cyril was ruling, people have this thing of see, I think it's sort of what is Cyril even? Or something.
Yeah, like he's from Limpopo, right?
Yeah, he's from Limpopo.
You know, they have this thing with like
Oh, let me some thoughts on this.
I don't think you should, but for now, you know, there's this thing of
let's put our guy.
Let's put our guy there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like it's just a tribe. What does it have to do with politics? What does it have to do with that person's ability to be president, that person's ability to be minister or whatever? But also, even if we come to local politics, we see. I also want to because I mean, before we can be a tribe, we're first a family, we're a clan, really. So if I can say, you know, by virtue of that's the same type of thing.
Like now, do you think tribalism is going on supervise?
I always have that. You know, when people ask me you know, when people ask me and I always tell them you know, and people have that thing about kids of village, that's how covers it. Kids covers it. You know, CV means I shine. I've had that in my past experience.
I mean, well, second last question. I just want to know, Buti, do you think we should educate abantwana in tribalism? Because now I feel Buti, in a way, they get to actually experience it, but not know what they're experiencing. So, I mean, when I'm telling abantwana, mind you, hey man, tribalism is so, and this is how you should actually, you know.
You know, for me, I'd actually encourage children, you know, to eradicate this stigma, you know, of tribalism, and I would actually love for my children, you know, to learn from other tribes, you know, and it's so nice for children when they are multilingual, you know, and it actually makes them, they know how to actually take their full shape, you know, and they know how to be fully capable, you know, to the best of their abilities because of
But I feel like that's also a young form of like tribalism. You know, it's not tribalism per se, but I think it's the positive side to having tribes. To be just like, oh, you know, you can speak my language.
Exactly. It's nice having someone who can actually recognize you, you know, by speaking your language. But imagine how it would be, you know, if we spoke each other's languages, you know, and if ever that was actually if we were taught from a young age, you know. Because now I am yearning to learn other languages. You know, you know, I want to learn all the languages, you know, but I feel like now, as I am growing up, you know, I'm kind of like, having difficulties doing that, you know, because I feel like it's going to be a slow process. But imagine if I had that interest as a child, you know, it means that I was going to grow into that, you know, and for me it was actually going to come effortlessly, you know, for me to actually, you know the languages that I feel in Fisa was. So I feel like it's really essential that, you know, we encourage children, you know, to interact more, learn from each other, you know, and speak their languages with pride too.
I just want us to talk about quickly before we close it off. ukuhlangana wethu as Africans, how important is it? Because manje siyabohlukene, we divided. How is it important ukuthi sihlangane as Africans, as blacks, if I can put it like that? How important is that, man?
We're getting to you. Our chat.
I think it's very important because that's just
okay.
If we're being fair. We got our democracy, but it's not working.
It's not.
Because we don't know ourselves, firstly. And by virtue of confusing and maneuver into the world, so I obviously cause trouble, in the world because so the moment I get to know myself, I learn myself, I understand myself, and I then teach the next person, teach the next person love, teach the next person. And then we're actually united, like genuinely united and not just, united for TV or united for the cameras or united for the... I think then we will have proper functioning politics, we'll have proper functioning societies in general. Exactly. And we'll stop hating each other and we'll stop killing each other because it's all like a thing of I'm going to cause a mess, basically, because I'm trying to understand something that I don't even know what to be. So the moment we learn ourselves and we learn each other and we love each other, then in that space, then I think...
True.
Yes, sir?
For me, I feel like that is really, really essential for us, to get together and stick together, because there are so many things that we can actually build in unity, because of if we are all scattered around, we neglect the most important things that we're supposed to do, the most prominent things that we should be building as a nation, as a society. I feel like things that are supposed to take shape, they aren't taking shape because of we are too divided, And just imagine if we can come together, and especially with the right ideas, imagine the institutes that we can actually build, educational institutes, we can even have our own currency, we can establish, banks, we can have systems that are relative, in presenting a black man, to take the shit. He's predestined, to explore his predestined magnitude, because I feel like, we don't have that, and one of the reasons that is not giving us that is because of we are too, scattered around, we are too scattered around. So if we can actually come together as people, and enforce that unity and try to use that unity into the right spaces, and I feel like there's a whole lot of history that could be made, by actually doing that, For me, that is my take.
Okay. Since we're about to finish, sort of I like to do this with you. We have, this message to the world or message to Africa or Africans that you would wish to tell them now, especially about tribalism, something that will empower them and might make them think different from so sort of like a message to Africans or a message to the world, wherever you are, and where it's now we're not experiencing tribalism. What can you say to those people as just a way of paramisa? I don't know. And then by the end, we can just close it off.
For me, I feel like the song has already been sung. The song has already been sung, and we've been preaching unity for almost hundreds and hundreds of years, and we are late. And we should try to be on time and use the time that we have by eradicating the useless things that we are investing ourselves in. And unity, it would actually mean that we are investing in something that could actually bring things that are way beyond our imagination, and for me, I feel like we have to unite. And however that is going to happen, it means that, we're going to have our differences as people, and, we should take those differences and actually put them aside, and be in one room, because of so much can be done. That's how I feel.
Mbali?
I think what I would like to say is it takes a village. You can't do things by yourself. Your tribe can't do things by themselves. Your race can't do things by themselves. Your country can't do things by themselves. It takes a village, you know, not just to raise a child. You know, it takes a village. You can't run your business by yourself. You can't, you know, run a school by yourself. Like everything, like we need each other, basically. And yeah, so if you can just remember that it takes a village.
So we need to be united.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you.
Thank you for watching, everybody. I'm Mbali Mthombeni. Please follow me on Instagram at Mbali Mthombeni and on Twitter at Mbali Mthombeni.
Nhlahla, Mbuyiselo. You guys can actually find me on Instagram. Isadoze_easy. You can find me on Twitter. Isadoze_easy. You can find me on Facebook. It's Isadoze Nhlahla Mbuyiselo. Yeah, peace.